All right, folks, welcome to Prophecy Montana. My name is Kerry. We have Mr. Dave Stanton with us, and we also have Ricky. We're going to do a prophecy update. And this Sabbath, we've decided to talk about the consumption of alcohol in the Christian community, and even in the Adventist community. And so you guys have been doing your preparation. You guys have lots of verses and stuff that, now, one of the things that people often say is that Jesus drank wine, therefore it's okay. And this is the argument that so many people bring up. And there's some other verses, a little wine for thy stomach's sake and things of this nature. Now, what are some of the things you guys have to say about this?
Well, in the first place, the Bible talks about two kinds of wine. One being old wine and one being new wine. New wine is grape juice, pure grape juice. Old wine is the fermented version of that.
And that was bad. That was vinegar. That was thrown out.
And so what we have to do is use a little common sense here when we look at what the statements are in the Bible. The first text I would refer to is Romans 14:21. And it says, "It is good neither to eat meat nor drink wine, nor do anything by which your brother stumbles or is offended or is made weak." Amen. So how was my influence to my fellow man? If I'm drunk, what does that tell them about God and about my character? Because I truly plan to represent God in my life. I think that text says it all.
Yeah.
Proverbs 20, verse 1. Ricky, you had that one.
Yep. Wine is a mocker, strong drink is raging, and whoever is deceived thereby is not wise.
Oh.
But some would argue, well, that's in excess. I've heard people say that. Well, that's drinking in excess, right? If you drink in moderation, it's fine. Well, how come alcoholics didn't get that memo?
Here's the point on the point that refutes that argument. Science today has discovered, and Ruth took a class right here at Montana State University on drugs and alcohol, and they told her that according to science today, if any amount of alcohol that you drink kills brain cells, any amount, it says, any amount kills brain cells. So don't tell me it's okay to drink a little bit. No. They said Jesus drank wine. Well, Jesus drank new wine. Grape juice. The point here is that who created man?
God, Jesus.
Jesus. When he was on earth, did he understand the principles behind the cause and effect with alcohol and brain cells?
Absolutely.
Yep.
And do you think for 1 minute that he would propose that we drink alcohol?
Nope.
I'm sorry, I don't buy the argument. It's an excuse.
Yeah, I don't think you'd pay for a kegger or 6 tubs of wine for a big huge party. Where families are destroyed by alcoholism, people are raped by alcohol. People are killed.
Infidelity.
Yeah.
Fights.
It's all bad.
It's all bad.
It is all bad. We adopted our son when he was 3 days old. This child is now 48 years old. He has suffered his entire life because of fetal alcohol syndrome. His birth mother drank while she was carrying him. It has destroyed much of his life. Don't tell me it's okay to drink. I'm not buying it.
No.
I don't touch it because I don't want to be looking like a fool in the first place. I don't want to destroy brain cells. I don't have enough of them as it is. And every reason I hear is nothing more than an excuse.
It's an excuse, of course.
Yeah, well, plain and simple. People like to drink. They like what it does. It gives them a buzz, and it gives you that feeling of well-being. It can chase your troubles away momentarily.
Oh, yeah.
You can have a good time on drinking. Don't tell me you can't, because
absolute lack of control.
But there's that, and then the problems that come in because of it. And so a good example of this is my son struggles with alcoholism, and his girlfriend just recently passed away from alcoholism, and And so the idea
And
that
how old was she again?
27. No, excuse me, 28.
28.
28. And so
Crazy.
the idea that God put his stamp of approval on the consumption of alcohol, knowing all things, right? Because God knows all things, and knowing that it would cause all of this trouble and all of this conflict and all of the divorces and everything that goes on. I mean, really?
Yeah, really.
Are we supposed to believe this?
Yeah, that God would, promote that? No way. There's no way.
But it's good for your. But there's flavonoids in wine, right?
Yeah, there's also in grape juice, by the way.
There you go. Okay.
My personal experience, other than with my son, has to do with two uncles and one cousin. My two uncles were alcoholics, and they died prematurely because of alcoholism.
Yep.
My cousin was a type A personality, not only an alcoholic, but a heavy smoker, on the run all the time, and died at 43 years of age. Tell me that wasn't caused by substance abuse.
Exactly. And we see it every day. We hear of people all the time. I mean, I can, I could probably recite a dozen people that I've known through the years that have died from alcohol-related accidents.
Sure.
Or over drinking. I've known people that have had brain damage. I personally know people who have incurred brain damage from going to a party and what do? The beer bong, but they put whiskey in it instead.
Oh, yeah.
And this guy consumed so much alcohol and he kind of talks like this now. He doesn't have his faculties about him. This guy was an all-star football player and everything else back in the day.
Yeah. I don't know how many of you keep up with the news of famous people who have died, but over this last week I've taken a look at it, and in many cases, these people 28, 38 in that range died of an immediate overdose of alcohol. One in particular I remember reading about last week. She went to a party. She OD'd on just totally, completely OD'd on alcohol, went to sleep and never woke up.
A young lady.
Yes.
The whole life ahead of her.
Yes, exactly.
Now, how can God put his stamp of approval on a substance like that? Now, there are some controversial texts in the Bible. It says, give strong drink unto those who perish. Now, how do we? Okay, so and I've thought about these sort of things for a long time. Nowadays we give morphine to people who perish, right? My dad just passed away, and so he had a brain tumor in the back of his head that was causing a lot of pain. Now, are we to tell him, "Suck it up, pops"? You're gonna be suffering and you're gonna be miserable and confused at the same time, and not know why you're hurting or even know who's around you, or would morphine ease his suffering and cause his last days to be at least peaceful?
Yeah.
Because God is not a God of suffering. However, morphine has caused a lot, and its derivatives have caused a lot of problems on the streets.
Yeah, I think you need to look at the circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got one more text here, Ephesians 5:18. That says, "And do not be drunk with wine, in which is dissipation, but be filled with the Spirit." Do not be drunk. Our company had a company party down at Chico Hot Springs last weekend. I haven't been to one in several years simply because I don't like looking at what people I normally respect do to themselves with alcohol. They turn into absolute morons.
Yeah, I was
just
thinking
can't take that.
I was thinking of that word that's synonymous with something that looks like a horse that has that certain whinny to his voice. One of them kind of words. That's kind of what everybody becomes at one of these parties, right?
Yeah, and intelligent people, engineers. I can't abide it, so and thankfully they started in the afternoon on Sabbath, and the excuse I give, I don't give them an excuse. I tell them, Ruth and I do a podcast. We teach Bible classes in the morning. We have parts to take in church in the daytime, and in the evening we have another Bible study at home. And that's what I fill my Sabbath day with. It's not with partying.
No.
I'd love to stay up late and act stupid with all y'all, but God has my responsibilities set out before me.
I've got another one, Isaiah 28, verse 7. But they also have erred through wine, and through strong drink are out of the way, The priests and the prophets have erred through strong drink. They have swallowed up wine. They are out of the way through strong drink. They err in vision. They stumble in judgment. For all tables are full of vomit and filthiness. So there is no place clean.
And what about that verse in Proverbs? I know it almost by heart in my head. I can kind of paraphrase it somewhat, but it talks about how those who drink wine and go to seek mixed wine when it moves itself aright in the cup and all of these things. And it says, you'll be like he that is on the mast of a ship, and you will say, they have beaten me, but where are your wounds? And all of these type of things, and your eyes will behold strange women, and then I guess you're going to wake up the next morning and you'll seek it again.
Yeah.
Well, it's
This
another thing. It's another thing to look at is the preponderance of evidence. If you look up all the scriptures regarding any subject, but this one in particular, you will find that the direction that we are to be led in is away from strong drink, not towards it.
Amen.
Okay? The preponderance of evidence.
This is kind of like today, I think. Isaiah 56, verse 12. Come ye, they say, I will fetch wine, and we will fill ourselves with strong drink, and tomorrow shall be as this day, and much more abundant.
Yeah, and it tells us in the New Testament to not be drunken, but be ye sober.
Yeah.
For your adversary, the devil, is seeking about like a roaring lion.
Well, what it says right here is in 57, the righteous perish, and no man lay it to heart, and the merciful man are taken away. No one considers that the righteous is taken away from the evil to come.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, always remember that any alcohol you drink is killing brain cells. And personally, I don't have enough of them that I can spare them.
I was gonna say, yeah, mine are mighty short now at this point. So, but anyways, folks, what do you guys think? Put your comments in the comment section below. Be sure and give us a thumbs up. Hit or subscribe if you haven't already. And we will see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.